Best-selling adventure writer Alex Rover has sold millions of books to fans all over the world. And she's done it all without ever leaving the house.
Were you always like this?
Like what?
Scared to get out and touch the world.
I'm not scared to go out. Excuse me, can you just leave it over?
And Alex Rover's biggest fan is a girl named Nim, who lives with her dad on a secret island.
Hey, Sophie! The new Alex Rover book. Excellent!
But when her island is threatened, she'll reach out to her favorite hero.
Dear Alex Rover, my father's lost at sea, and our island's being invaded. I need you, Alex Rover.
But I'm not that Alex Rover.
You're definitely not.
She thinks I'm you, and you're not even real.
Let's do it.
Do what?
Go. Be the hero of your own life story.
Don't hand me that line. I wrote that line.
Let's go save that little girl. What are you afraid of?
Everything!
Now, two people who are worlds apart
Bad chick! Not allowed. Not allowed. Not allowed. Next.
will come together
I'm looking for a fire mountain. You need gold. I don't need gold. No, thank you. You should wash your hands before you touch anything else.
for one extraordinary adventure.
I'm gonna die!
I gotta agree with you on that one.
Listen, Ed, you're a hero!
I'm not a hero. Get the helicopter pilot. Beautiful ocean. Doesn't it feel just great?
No, it doesn't feel just great.
This spring, journey to a place
That girl needs you. The island's already lost.
Never!
where imagination
Today we fight for our piece of the world!
runs wild.
Get on!
Abigail Breslin, Jodie Foster, and Gerard Butler. Nim's Island.
I took a plane, I took a helicopter, I stole a boat. Oh.
Slightly better than Argyle, but pretty much the same plot as Argyle. You have a story about a young girl played by Abigail Breslin who's alone on a remote island seeking help from an agoraphobic San Franciscan author played by Jodie Foster. When the author attempts to overcome her agoraphobia to search for her, Nim is trying to overcome her fear of losing her father, played by Gerard Butler. And her creation, Alex Rover, is also somebody who happens to be played by Gerard Butler, so you think maybe that's going to tie into something, but not really. I mean, you could kind of figure it out right away with what they're going to do with it in the end, and yeah, it goes pretty much kind of where you expect it to go. But really, in the end, it doesn't amount to anything in terms of the story overall, and the story itself really isn't that engaging or interesting whatsoever. It's a pretty bland story overall. It's a movie where everyone's trying their best to do something in here, but nobody's really giving it 110%. Like, Jodie Foster usually will never turn in a bad performance in a bad movie. This is probably one of her worst things she's ever done, but even then, she's completely harmless in here. She doesn't do anything that terrible. And again, this is one of those movies where they were really trying to push Abigail Breslin as the next big movie star, and it just really wasn't meant to be. And this is another one of those movies where Gerard Butler's coming off of 300. Again, another person they were trying to really push as the next big thing, and it just never really took off for him after 300. But yeah, just a lot of things in here that should make for an enjoyable adventure film. And I guess for little kids, it's fine, but there's just so many better options out there for kids besides something like this. I think you can get much more enjoyment out of much better family adventure films, like, of course, Swiss Family Robinson comes to mind. There's a bunch of other ones I can easily mention here, but this one is just, it's just kind of mediocre overall. It's nothing too amazing, nothing too spectacular, but it's nothing terrible either. It's just very run-of-the-mill, something you put on a Saturday afternoon when there's literally nothing else going on and it's raining or snowing outside. That's about it, so yeah, mediocre opinion on Nim's Island. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next one we have here, and that is Leatherheads.
In the beginning, the rules were simple. There were no rules.
You hit anybody that comes near him. Right? Oh, I like him.
On April 4th,
Where were you two? Out.
Nowhere.
let the games begin.
Throw one. You get the first one.
Leatherheads,
Certain jobs are always going to be done by men.
Big strapping man?
rated PG-13.
So the idea of Leatherheads is that this is a romantic comedy set against the backdrop of America's nascent pro football league in 1925. We have Dodge Connolly, played by George Clooney, who's a charming, brash football hero, determined to guide his team from bar brawls to packed stadiums. But after the players lose their sponsorship and the entire league faces certain collapse, Dodge convinces a college football star to join his ragtag ranks. The captain hopes his latest move will help the struggling sport finally capture the country's attention. Welcome to the team, Carter Rutherford, played by John Krasinski, a Golden Boy war hero who single-handedly forced multiple German soldiers to surrender in the Great War. Carter has dashing good looks and unparalleled speed on the field. The new champ is almost too good to be true, and Lexi Littleton, played by Renee Zellweger, aims to prove that that's the case. She's a Cub journalist playing in the big leagues. She's a Spitfire newswoman who suspects there are holes to Carter's war story, but while she digs, the two teammates start to become serious off-field rivals for her fickle affections. As the new game of pro football becomes less like the freewheeling sport he knew and loved, Dodge must find his guys to keep them together and to get the goal of his dreams. Finding that love and football has a surprisingly similar playbook, however, he has one maneuver he will save just for the fourth quarter. I did not write that in any means necessary. I think that was written by the studio or something, but this is a movie that didn't do very well with critics when it came out. It was actually kind of seen as an underwhelming film, and I think it actually kind of bombed at the box office, but I really dug the hell out of this movie, man. It's George Clooney's directorial follow-up to Good Night and Good Luck, which I think is a much superior film, but this is a film I really think got severely overlooked because it is really a funny movie. George Clooney doing something in the spirit of an old 1920s screwball comedy. I mean, this is right in his MO. This is something that he is known for. He is well aware that he can make work, and he makes this work so well. I think it's a very entertaining movie, and it really gives a chance for John Krasinski to really show how good of an actor he can really be, because he has to be in scenes with these two Oscar-winning actors in here. Not just George Clooney, but Renee Zellweger. Like, he has to really stick with these guys to really keep the audience invested in what's going on. He does a great job at it. I mean, he's absolutely pitch perfect in here. He fits the role very well here. It's a really fun film. Great music by Randy Newman, some great cinematography. I mean, it really does a good job of making you feel like this is something that could have taken place in the 20s overall. I think it's a much fun, it could be easily seen as a much funnier version of something like Semi-Pro, but that really isn't saying a whole lot, because Semi-Pro, I think, is a much different animal than something like Leatherheads is, obviously, but this is a really good movie. I really enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a very underrated film, and one that should definitely be checked out. So definitely check out Leatherheads. With that said, let us move on to the next movie we have here, and that is The Ruins.
Tales of entire civilizations vanishing overnight. 5 explorers. You know what they used to do to people down there? Will discover why. On April 4th, something lives on.
It was alive and knows we're here. It has to go.
You run and you don't stop. The Ruins, rated R, starts April 4th.
Yeah, another one of those horror movies they were hoping to branch out big time, with Ben Stiller being one of the main producers on the film, but unfortunately, it kind of falls into the similar territory we've seen with many films like this before. You follow a pair of couples who are on a vacation in Mexico who join a tourist to visit a remote Mayan ruin that unfortunately is inhabited by a carnivorous vine growth. And there's good ideas in here. This is based off of a book of the same name, but it really just falls into predictable territory we've seen done to death before so many times. I mean, other movies have done this so much better, but this wants to be something new and unique, something like The Descent, but it's more like the rip-off of The Descent, The Cave, more than it is The Descent. I mean, it's one of those movies where you have basically stupid white people going into a place that they should not be going into, but screw it, they're going to do it anyway because the Mountain Dew's kicking in. They feel like they can do whatever they want, and then they get their comeuppance in the end, and it just really doesn't work overall. The scares really aren't that interesting. There's way too much gore in the movie, which keep in mind, this is the Saw and Hostel era, and everybody thought that, excessive gore was the way to go, and no, not really. And this really stumbled to get out of the gate pretty quickly, and it just really didn't do anything to distance itself from much better movies that this is trying to be, and it really failed on so many levels. It wasn't entertaining. You don't like the characters whatsoever. You're only there watching them to see them get killed in a matter of moments. Just nothing there, man. Just nothing worthy of this movie. A hard skip on The Ruins. So with that said, let us go ahead and move on to the next one we have here. The Martin Scorsese directed Rolling Stones documentary, Shine a Light.
Academy Award-winning director Martin Martin Scorsese, the world's greatest rock band, an unforgettable night, all in IMAX.
Then we have another guest. Tempo's gonna go up and up and up and up.
You've got a front row seat to the biggest, wildest IMAX experience ever. Shine a light, rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listing.
Okay, I said that this was actually the second Martin Scorsese directed Rolling Stone documentary. There was another Rolling Stone documentary called Let's Spend the Night Together, but that was not directed by Scorsese. That was directed by Hal Ashby back in 1983, so I apologize for that. But this is directed by Scorsese, and as you can see, it features archival footage from the band's career, making use of digital cinematography for backstage sequences, the first time Scorsese uses that technology in a film. And it's basically a film to tie into the Rolling Stones' latest album at the time, Shine a Light. And, I mean, it is what it is, man. It's a documentary where you get to see the Rolling Stones and Martin Scorsese work off of each other. You get some performances by Christina Aguilera and Jack White in there, too. And it really just depends on if you like to see the Rolling Stones doing what they do best. And sure enough, they are the Rolling Stones do what they do best in this movie, and it works very well. It's a very fun documentary. You get to hear some really good music all across the board, and you get to see Martin Scorsese do some things that he's never really done before in a movie like this. Like I said, using digital cinematography, which is something that was very unprecedented and new for him in this case, and it works very well here. Notable that this is also the last film by Paramount Classics, as the studio had merged it with Paramount Vantage, which didn't last very long after this movie did. So, I mean, you have a studio that was around for almost 10 years, and now it's been truncated down, and now that studio's gone, and Paramount's just been releasing films under Paramount Pictures overall, so. But, other than that, though, not much more to say about Shine a Light. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to some indie comedies. Some of them you might not be familiar with. In fact, I know one you're not going to be familiar with. This is the next one here. Aaron Eckhart, Jessica Alba, and Elizabeth Banks in the comedy Meet Bill.
What are you doing? I'm fixing your head. You look great.
So in the movie, Aaron Eckhart plays Bill, who's unhappy. He's married a banker's daughter and has a dead-end job at the bank. And his wife Jess, played by Elizabeth Banks, is tied to Daddy's wallet. And Bill is developing a gut for lack of exercise and constantly eats candy bars. He dreams of buying a donut franchise to be independent of Jess's dad, and he's roped into a mentoring program in his old prep school, assigned a smart-mouth kid who pops up when least expected. And when Jess starts an affair with Chip, played by Tim Oliphant, who's a local TV personality and a vain Rob Lowe lookalike, which, I don't know. I don't really see a difference between Rob Lowe and Timothy Oliphant, especially in 2008 of all times. But it sends Bill, the kid, and a young sales clerk from a lingerie shop, played by Jessica Alba, on a quest to win back Jess and get the donuts. What about self-respect? What about a plot that actually makes sense? Because none of that makes any fucking sense whatsoever. And it's kind of the problem with the film in general. I think it's a film that really doesn't work because it's just all over the place. Nothing really is going on here, and it just feels like this is a film that's trying to be way too many things at the same time. Does it want to be a comedy? Does it want to be a drama? It can't balance it out overall. And it's a shame because there are things about the film I did kind of enjoy. I liked Aaron Eckhart in here. I thought it was pretty good. Elizabeth Banks is pretty good playing his wife. Logan Lerman, Percy Jackson, is pretty good in here playing the kid. Tim Oliphant's pretty fun in here. Jessica Alba, I think, is actually in probably one of her better films overall, but they're just stuck with a really bad script that really doesn't go anywhere, and it just really kind of falls apart pretty quickly, and there's nothing really to say about the film because nothing really else more to say about it because nothing really happens in this movie. Like, what am I even doing here? Like, what's the point of being here except to just watch this guy who's just kind of a bland character overall, played very well by a good actor, but he's not really given anything to do or anything to make him stand out or anything like that. It's like the film had an idea, but just couldn't figure out how to materialize it into a story that makes it something that deserves to be seen. It's just a film that feels like it's all over the place, has nowhere to go, and it just feels kind of lost in the end. It really has nothing of value to give people, and it's a shame because the actors are trying their best, but there's just nothing there to give it that extra spark that it really needs to really become something unique and different. And, yeah, it just kind of falls apart pretty quickly. So, yeah, not much more to say about that one except Meet Bill. some parts of it are good, but others not so much. So let's go ahead and move on to the last one we have here. Easily the most memorable of the two indie comedies we have this week, and that's Daniel Waters' follow-up to Heathers, and that is Sex and Death 101.
Who the hell's Roderick Blank?
That would be me. I was a man above temptation. I had what I thought at the time to be it all. Excellent job, excellent soon-to-be wife, excellent life. If only I hadn't let Trixie open that last email.
Oh, that's weird.
Roderick Blank just got a mysterious email
It's a list of names.
listing everybody he's ever slept with.
Does the name Patricia Franchini ring a bell?
She took my virginity. What did you say this list was?
I didn't, unless Allison Bradbury is the second girl you ever had sex with.
Whoa,
And everybody he ever will sleep with.
101.
that's impossible.
How can he focus on the one he's with when he knows the one who's next?
A list like that, it gets like crazy montage sequence used.
I promise I won't fall in love with you as long as you promise you won't fall in love with me.
Oh, I promise.
First to Roderick Blank, stop having hot sex.
Julie!
Now, he's living every man's greatest fantasy. But this fantasy may be more than he bargained for.
They called her Death Knell. Different hairstyles, different outfits. She was the worst thing to happen to men in quite some time.
Newsbreak, this just in.
Did they really catch that satanic succubus?
No, and the word's freedom fighter.
Death Knell is...
It was a name that sounded familiar.
Some dreams are too true to be good.
In a story about what happens when getting lucky has nothing to do with luck. Simon Baker, Winona Ryder, Sex and Death 101.
A whole lot of action going on back here. Figure I'd get myself a piece.
So in the story, this guy's about to marry this woman played by Julie Bowen. Roderick Blank is his name, played by Simon Baker. He receives an anonymous email with 101 names on it. Fiona is the 29th. The first 28 are women that Rod has slept with, and the 30th turns out to be the stripper at his bachelor party. The notion that he will have sex with 70 more people sends Rod into crisis mode, especially after 3 odd men in an aesthetic office confirm that a celestial machine has made an error. They suggest destroying the list, but Rod finds it easier said than done. Working his way through it, it consumes him, plus he realizes that death may await him after 101. Meanwhile, a femme fatale nicknamed Death Knell, played by Winona Ryder, is putting men into a coma. Are they fated to meet? And you can kind of see where the film ends up going in the end, but this is what I actually really enjoy. I like the concept of this movie. This is like the Good Luck Chuck. Like, Good Luck Chuck had a really good premise to work with, you know, this guy has sex with all these women, and then immediately they find their true love. The problem was there wasn't a good script to go behind it, and the film ended up being terrible. This is a really good idea to it. You know, a guy that has this list of all the women that he's had sex with, he's going to have sex with, and it ends at this 101, and you're thinking, what's going to happen at 101? And the first time you watch it, you really don't notice it early on. And it took me a second time after watching this again to realize to realize how you can kind of figure out where it's going to go early on. And it kind of ruins it a little bit, but honestly, I really like this movie a lot. I thought it was actually really funny. Simon Baker, of course, everyone knows him as The Mentalist. It's a chance for him to do something that's very, very much more comedic and much more funnier and much more clever than something that he would usually do as being like in a procedural drama. And I think he does it very well here. Winona Ryder's great in this movie. I love her performance as Nell in this. She's really fun. I mean, she looks like she's really going in on this, and it just shows how great of an actress she can really be. You got a lot of other great performances in here. Leslie Bibb, Retta from Parks and Recreation, Patton Oswalt, just a number of different names in here. The aforementioned Julie Bowen, Neil Flynn from Scrubs, Frances Fisher, just a lot of notable names in this movie, and a lot of really good fun concepts all across the board here. It's a really fun movie, a really good idea overall. This is a film that really does take the advantages of what Good Luck Chuck was supposed to do, but failed to do, and makes it work here, because I think there's a much better director involved in this, a much better writer, who has a really good idea of what he wants to do, what kind of a story he wants to tell. I think it works very well. I think it's a very underrated film, and one that should definitely be checked out. If you haven't seen Sex and Death 101, definitely check it out, especially if you love Heathers. This one's a really good black comedy that definitely deserves a lot more attention.
It's been 3 years. This high school teacher, you got obsessed with a student since we've seen each other. She watched him kill her mother. I hear you're going to prom tonight. Sure gonna miss you guys. I hope you and your friends.
Is anybody here?
He's somewhere in this hotel. Have a great time.
Please don't do that, please.
PG-13 in theaters everywhere.
God, you kids out there will see anything if it means you get a piece of ass in the process. I mean, that's literally why this movie was a hit. No one wanted to see this movie. Nobody wanted to go out there and see this because it was a good film. No, they went out to see it because of one thing. They wanted to take their dates out, and they wanted to get laid afterwards. That's literally why this movie exists. And you could tell because as soon as this movie's first weekend came and went, nobody cared about the movie after that. So in this film, you have Brittany Snow as Donna, and her senior prom is supposed to be the best night of her life, one of magic, beauty, and love. Surrounded by her best friends, she should be safe from the horrors of her dark past, but when the night turns from magic to murder, there's only one man who could be responsible, the man she thought was gone forever. Now Donna and her friends must find a way to escape the sadistic rampage of an obsessed killer and survive their prom night. Dun dun dun! Yeah, there's nothing original about this movie whatsoever. Of course, this is a remake of the 1980 film, which starred Jamie Lee Curtis and Leslie Nielsen, and that served well for this time period. It was a much more better put together film than anything that this garbage can do. There's just nothing of quality here in this movie. I mean, this is a film that is literally straight up just a movie about prom night, and not even a remake of Prom Night. It's just a bland horror movie that took the name because of the name recognition. And yeah, you can tell right from the get-go, the acting in here is terrible. Nobody is threatening or whatsoever. Everybody acts like they're idiots, and everything you expect in a horror movie like this is in there. There's no cleverness to this film. There's a wasted cast in here that includes such notable names as Brittany Snow and Jonathan Schaech and Idris Elba. This is a disastrous movie, man. This is a terrible, terrible movie. Avoid this one like the plague. There's not much more I can even say about it because it's so forgettably bad. It's a terrible movie. Just avoid it. Now let's take a look at the one film that I would probably say is the best of the films that we had this weekend, but even then, that's not really saying a whole lot. This is Street Kings.
You straight nightmare.
On the streets of L.A.
I could not be prouder of my men.
Every cop wants justice.
There are 2 cop killers out there.
You can get these guys, but how do they get it?
These dudes is monsters, man.
Is what sets them apart.
Show me. You just let me leave my car in the hood.
So we're just gonna go in there and kill him?
No, I'm gonna ask him some questions. Then we're gonna kill him.
Street Kings, rated R, Friday, April 11th.
You see the stacked cast that's in that trailer there, and you have Keanu Reeves starring as an LAPD detective, Tom Ludlow, who's a ruthlessly efficient, unorthodox undercover cop. Captain Jack Wander, played by Forrest Whitaker, always covers for Ludlow, as do even his somewhat jealous colleagues. After technically excessive violence against a vicious Korean gang during the liberation of kidnapped child sex slaves, Ludlow becomes the target of hotshot Infernal Affairs Captain James Biggs, played by Hugh Laurie. And after, he feels passed over after Wander's promotion to chief, Ludlow's ex-patrol partner Terrence Washington, played by Terry Crews, sides with IA, but is killed during a shop robbery in Ludlow's presence. Ludlow works his way through the twisted rungs of the police and the deadly streets of Los Angeles for answers that only lead to more questions. And that's just the that's just the beginning of this iceberg of cast that people that you may be very familiar with. You've got Chris Evans, Cedric the Entertainer, Jay Moore, Naomi Harris, Common, The Game, John Corbett, Mario Nolasco, Clifton Powell. I mean, there's a stacked cast in this movie. This was a film that was originally intended to be directed by David Fincher back in the 90s, but that was passed aside. Spike Lee was going to direct it at one point. It was passed aside. Oliver Stone was going to direct it at one point, and then eventually landed into the hands of David Ayer. And, I mean, a good ride of a Training Day, but this is a film that's coming right after Harsh Times, which wasn't that great of a film overall, and this one's barely passable. It's a typical generic cop thriller, which I think he did a whole lot better with End of Watch a couple years later. This is a film that clearly feels like a film that was just tossed around from director to director with a different vision of what they wanted to do, and they got through it because they had, this is based off of a James Ellroy story. This is written by Kurt Wimmer, who did Equilibrium. There's a lot of names and talent throughout this movie that you feel like all these pieces are coming together for a very jumbled mess of a film. You got all these great actors in here, but even then, it's not enough to really save the film overall. It's passable. Sometimes there are lines that are so bad they're good. But other than that, though, there's just nothing about the film that really makes it stand out or anything that makes it unique in the end. Like I said, it's the best of the films that we have this week, but even then, it's not saying a whole lot. So take that for what you will. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the indie comedies that we have this weekend, and one of them is Smart People.
Professor Lawrence Weatherhold's life had hit rock bottom.
Treatment ass. I was mugged.
Until his brother gave him a push.
Why don't you ask the hot doctor out?
In the right direction.
Can we give a date a try?
Lorber. No, you're simply not ready. Let's not forget the stigma attached to widowers.
Smart People.
Good work.
Rated R. In theaters April.
So Dennis Quaid plays Lawrence Weatherhold, who's a miserable, misanthropic person, a widower, a pompous professor at Carnegie Mellon, an indifferent father to a college student and a high school senior, and the reluctant brother of a ne'er-do-well who comes to town. A seizure and a fall sends Lawrence to the emergency room, where the physician, a former student, ends up going up on a date with him. She's played by Sarah Jessica Parker. His daughter Vanessa, played by Ellen Page, lonely and friendless, begins bonding with his brother, played by Thomas Hayden Church, tries to sabotage Dad and the doctor's relationship, but Lawrence is good at that without help. Is there any way these smart people can get a life? Can happiness be pursued by layers of irony? For a movie called Smart People, I kind of expected something smart and not really a boring mess of a film. I mean, this is another one of those movies where the intentions are clearly there. They got a lot of really good talent here with Quaid, Parker, Page, and Thomas Hayden Church, but just not a good enough script to really make it stand out on its own. It's a movie that's trying to be this indie darling. I mean, it's one of the producers of Sideways. You got some of the stars from some big indie hits of recently, Sideways and Juno in here. And they're really not doing anything to salvage the film and make it somewhat watchable in the end. It's a boring film. Like, there's really not a whole lot about this film that I found enjoyable about it. And I like everybody that's in this film, but the comedy isn't really that great. The drama's very formulaic. And yeah, it just really didn't live up to what I think it could have been. I think it could have been a really good film overall, but it never gets to the point where I would say it's one you should definitely check out. It's a film that's very disappointing. With the people involved in here, with the fact that it's made by the same people who made Sideways, you expect so much better from them. Now, if you want a good movie produced by the same guys that did Sideways that came out this weekend, I said Street Kings was the best film that came out this weekend. I completely forgot about the last film we have here. Richard Jenkins as The Visitor.
It's kind of exciting, not to me.
You can't just take people away like that. Do you hear me? We are not just helpless children.
So in the movie, you have Richard Jenkins as a lonely man in late middle age whose life changes with a chance encounter with an immigrant couple, forcing him to face issues relating to identity, immigration, and cross-cultural communication in post-9/11 New York City. It was directed by Tom McCarthy, who would later give us the Oscar-winning Spotlight. He also would do Win-Win, The Cobbler, Timmy Failure, Mistakes Were Made. So he's made some decent movies over the last couple of years. But really, this, I think, is his best overall film, and it really is a showcase for this actor, Richard Jenkins, who is absolutely incredible. A great character actor. I mean, most people will know him later in the year for being the father in Step Brothers, but man, he's great in this movie. This is a chance for him to get a chance to show what he can do as a leading actor, and it pays off big time. He was a great success in this film. He really is the star of the show. You also have Danny Guerrero, who of course is Shuri from Black Panther, making one of her early film debuts in here. Oh wait, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. I said Shuri. No, that's Michonne from The Walking Dead, and also Okoye. Yeah, my apologies for that. I should have figured that out. I mean, but yeah, that's Danny Guerrero, Michonne from The Walking Dead. I'm sorry for that, but But back to Richard Jenkins. He is absolutely incredible in the movie. He was so good in here. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for a film that not a lot of people really got to see. So this was a chance for everybody to see this film and see what this actor can really do. And he pays it off big time. He is fantastic. He's a really great actor. He's great in this film. This is his showcase to show what he can do as a leading actor, and it works very well. It's easily the best film I saw from this list of films this weekend, and it's one you should definitely check out. Definitely seek out The Visitor.
What are you doing up there?
Nothing. Sorry, Mom.
What land do you come from, monk?
I'm not a monk. I'm Jason Tripidicus from South Boston.
You carry something very special.
This?
So this is loosely based off of a 16th century Chinese novel called Journey to the West, where you have the plot revolving around Jason Tripithecus, that's a weird name, played by Michael Angarano, who is a modern-day American teenager who is transported back to ancient China after discovering the Monkey King's magical staff. He accompanies Old Hop, played by Jackie Chan, and Silent Monk, played by Jet Li, on their quest to return the staff to its rightful owner, while trying to avoid the minions of the evil Jade Empire, played by Colin Cho. And this is directed by Rob Minkoff, who did The Lion King and Stuart Little, and written by John Fusco, who did Young Guns. But this was being sold as a major project, considering that Jackie Chan and Jet Li were starring in a movie together. And of course, Jackie Chan had been in a lot of other action movies. He was in Drunken Master, of course, and Jet Li has done Fearless, and of course Hero. So this was a pretty big deal for fans of these two to come together in a movie like this. But to say it's underwhelming is very much not an understatement. This is a very underwhelming film indeed. I mean, yeah, it's cool that you get to see Jackie Chan and Jet Li working off each other, fighting each other, and going off on these adventures, but you could tell that the film was trying way too hard to be sort of the next never-ending story, like a family adventure or film where, it's an adventure where they go into this person goes into a fantasy world, and he's supposed to be it's a fish out of water story, and we've seen this stuff done before so many times, and you think with a director like Rob Minkoff, who has done movies like Stuart Little and also The Lion King, you would expect a lot more from it, and there's just not enough of it there to really keep the film is a film that's actually tolerable and something that actually makes it worth it in the end. Ooh, excuse me. It's so plain and forgettable I'm burping about it, but yeah, other than that, though, it's just kind of a bland movie in general. Yeah, the action sequences can be cool sometimes, but I guess maybe because I'm not into these movies so much like most people are, but I kind of expected a lot more from it, per se. I think if you are a fan of movies with Jackie Chan and Jet Li and are fans of watching them in this genre, this wuxia genre that they're in, I guess you can find it more enjoyable than I did, but for me, it's passable. It's good for maybe a one-time watch for me personally, but it's one I really don't ever want to watch again, per se. Not to say that it's bad or anything, but it's just something that I really have no interest in ever watching again, per se. Now, the next movie I can watch several times because it is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is Jason Segel in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Girlfriend dumped you. Stop crying.
When the worst has already happened.
Everywhere I look, I'm reminded of her.
Go on a vacation, go to Hawaii. What's the worst that could happen?
Peter, what are you doing here?
From the guys who brought you the 40-year-old virgin.
Did you see her boyfriend? He is ridiculous.
And knocked up.
I'd like to grab some dinner, please. Is your girlfriend joining? No. You just by yourself?
Yeah. We've got a loner?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, just clear the other stuff off. It's one man.
Rated R.
So Forgetting Sarah Marshall tells the story of Peter Bretter, played by Jason Segel, who's a music composer for a TV show that features his girlfriend, Sarah Marshall, played by Kristen Bell, in the leading role. After a 5-year relationship, she breaks up with Peter. Devastated by this event, he chooses to go to vacation in Hawaii in order to try to move forward with his life. The trouble is, he runs into Sarah on the island, and she is on vacation with her latest boyfriend, played by Russell Brand. I think this was where everyone thought that saw Russell Brand for the first time, and thought that he was going to have a good future in film. I mean, it was a good 5-year run while it lasted, but then they shipped him off back to England, and now I have really no idea what he's up to nowadays. I think he's become one of those right-wing actors per se, but I don't know about that. But on this island, you also have other characters played by Paul Rudd. Mila Kunis plays this new love interest for Segel, and Jonah Hill is also in there as well. This is directed by Nicholas Stoller. This was actually his first film as a director, even though he had written other works beforehand. Like, he had done a lot of other movies and TV shows, and of course he would later go on to direct several other comedies. Some pretty good ones overall. It's like the Neighbors movies, Storks. He did a really good underrated one that came out a couple of years ago with Billy Eichner Brothers, or Bros, if you would say. But yeah, this is without a doubt his best movie to date. I mean, this is still one of those great comedies that I was skeptical when it came out. I remember, Richard Roper, back when even Roper was still on the air, they were talking about how, this is one of the greatest comedies ever made, and I was really, really looking at it and going like, okay, you're throwing a lot of high praise on this movie, only for me to be let down by it. I mean, I was let down by Drobert Taylor not but a few weeks prior to that, and that had Judd Apatow's name on it. So I was going into this with slightly lower expectations, and that works because, yeah, this movie is pretty friggin' amazing. It's Jason Segel, it's Jason Segel proving that he can be a great leading actor, and he works really well in here. He's a great funny comedian. He's a great comic actor, not really a comedian, but of course he showed that with what he did with How I Met Your Mother, those years as Marshall Erickson. He's great on that show, and he's got good chemistry with both Bell and Mila Kunis. He has this really good, charismatic charm to him that works very well. And it's a very creative movie, too. Like, this is a film where you're not only watching him because he's such a good leading actor, but the guy has a lot of talent, man. He's a great musician. You see it here, he's good at making music, he's good with puppeteering work. There's a subplot with him where his true passion is that he wants to write a Dracula puppet comedy rock opera, and of course at the end of the movie when he has that situation where he's got to choose where life is going to take him, he gets to do it, and it really does show why he was so the right choice to do that Muppet movie that came out a couple years later, which I still think is a fantastic movie, minus the post-credits ending, but we'll save that for another day. But I love this movie, man. It's a classic movie. It shows a lot of great comic potential from all the stars involved here. Even people that you wouldn't expect. Like, Kristen Bell had been on Veronica Mars up to this point, but nobody really knew if she could transition to more comedic roles in general. Mila Kunis had been on That 70s Show and Family Guy, so everyone kind of expected that. And Russell Brand was very charismatic and very fun in here. He's an obnoxious boyfriend, but he's not at the point where he's completely annoying rather than what he would later become on down the road. Like, you really do get behind him, and you really do feel like, yeah, he is a likable person, and a damn good singer, too. I mean, he has a good song in the movie where, it's hard not to realize the true potential of this guy as an actor as a whole. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out as well 10 years later, but, or even now, almost 20 years later, but Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a classic movie, definitely one of the best Judd Apatow-produced movies, one of my favorite comedies of all time. Yeah, I could see why people were loving it at the time, and yeah, it lived up to every bit of the hype and then some. It's a great comedy. I can't recommend it enough. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, definitely check it out. So with that said, let us move on to the last one we have here, and that's Al Pacino's 88 Minutes.
Yeah. You have 88 minutes to live. Who the hell is this? I received a threatening phone call.
You better turn on MSNBC.
I find it hard to believe that Dr. Jack Graham can be psychobabbling innocent people into the death chamber.
What's going on?
Dale Morris was murdered.
They found evidence that implicates you.
Who's the murderer now, Jack?
Can't you see this as a frame?
Did I fire bullets at myself? Did I blow up my car?
Genius, isn't it? I'm gonna find you. 88 Minutes. Rated R. In theaters this spring.
So this is another one of those real-time action thrillers that we got around that time. Vantage Point was another one, but that was definitely a lot better than this film. You have a famed forensic scientist played by Al psychiatrist played by Al Pacino, who's one of the most sought-after profilers in the world. His expert testimony resulted in the conviction of a serial killer played by Neil McDonough. However, on the eve of Forster's execution, one of Graham's students is murdered by a vicious copycat crime, and Graham receives an ominous message informing him that he has 88 minutes to live. And so at that point, then the movie becomes a movie that literally is in real time. It takes place within 88 minutes, even though this is almost a 2-hour movie and 110 minutes long. And a good idea, a good concept overall. You've got a lot of really good talent here. Not just Al Pacino, but not just Neil McDonough, but you also have Alicia Witt, Lily Sobieski, William Forsythe, Deborah Kara Unger, Amy Brenneman, Benjamin McKenzie. So there is a lot of good talent all across the board in here. The problem is that the movie is very generic, it's very predictable, and Neil McDonough, who could play a menacing force when he needs to, this is one of those films where the director really did not give him a good idea of what they wanted to do here. Like, this guy is not threatening by any means necessary, and the big twist that happens at the end of the movie, it's not worth it when it's all said and done, and it's just like, you really feel underwhelmed by what you just sat through. It's just like, man, there was such a good idea in here, and there's just nothing there to cement how good it can really be. It's a film that is just so bland, it's so generic, the twist is not that good. It's a terrible movie. It's a film that takes a lot of the potential of what this film could have really been and just completely avoids it. And this is a director who's done some good work. John Avon is the director of this. This is the guy that did Fried Green Tomatoes. This is the guy that did stuff like The War. He did movies like He's done movies like you'll have a better movie that comes out this year with Al Pacino in it, Righteous Kill. And the writer of this is Gary Scott Thompson. Gary Scott Thompson is, a guy who was mostly known for his work on the Fast and Furious movies. He did stuff like, he did Hollow Man. I literally just have it right here. I just completely forgot about it. He was the guy that also did Las Vegas, the show with Josh Duhamel and James Caan. That was a fun show for a little bit. So yeah, there is a lot there where the talent should be there, but it just doesn't come together in the end. And it doesn't help that the twist really makes it worse than it has to be, and it just completely ruins the ebb and flow. It's a mess of a film. It's a sloppy film, and I'm really disappointed by the ending. It's just a real mess of a film. Yeah, avoid this one like the plague. 88 minutes. Definitely, you could do so much more in your time than just this movie. Avoid 88 minutes like the plague.
Pregnant.
I just don't like your uterus.
She hired someone who could.
I want you to put your baby inside me.
Get ready.
Did you just stick your gum under my coffee table? I don't know.
For 9 months of hard labor.
A surrogate is your partner. Like Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry hate each other. They love each other. What show are you watching?
Baby mama.
I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'm sorry I farted into your purse. What?
Rated PG-13.
So yeah, a definitely much more mainstream type of movie than something like a smart thing like 30 Rock. But this is a movie where Tina Fey plays a successful and single businesswoman who has long put her career ahead of her personal life. Now 37 years old, she's finally determined to have a kid of her own, but her plan is thrown a curveball after she discovers she has only a 1,000,000 to 1 chance of getting pregnant. Undaunted, she is driven to the South Philadelphia working girl played by Amy Poehler to be her unlikely surrogate. Simple enough. After learning from the steely-headed of their surrogacy center that Angie is pregnant, Kate goes into precision nesting mode. Well, is reading children's care books, baby-proofing the apartment, and researching top preschools. But the executive's well-organized strategy is turned upside down when her baby mama shows up at her doorstep with no place to live. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object as structured Kate tries to turn vibrant Angie into the perfect expectant mom. Will they ever get along? I mean, yeah, do I really need to continue on with the synopsis here? I mean, it's pretty much a standard plot overall. And yeah, as I said before, it is very much a straightforward mainstream comedy. You're not going to get anything too smart or too clever or anything too, not a highbrow comedy like these two can really do with 30 Rock and Amy Poehler would later do with Parks and Recreation. But a movie like this doesn't really need to be that way. If these two can show that they can still be very funny, even with a much more lighthearted comedy, then you definitely get a lot of that here. It's definitely something that really works very well here. There's a great cast that surrounds this movie. Greg Kinnear has a good role in here. You got Dax Shepard, Sigourney Weaver, Steve Martin, Romany Malco, Maura Tierney, Holland Taylor, Will Forte, Fred Armisen, Jason Mantzoukas. There's a lot of good people in this movie, and there's a lot of things about the film that makes it work in the long run. I think it is a very fun film, and it really does show that Tina Fey and Amy Poehler still have that magic that they had together when they were doing Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live. I mean, this is a film that's right up their alley. It's a good movie. Is it one of the best movies they've ever done? No, it's no Mean Girls, but like it's not Tina Fey doing Mean Girls again. I mean, it's a movie where it just works very well on its own. Doesn't need to be anything too smart or too clever, but it just works on so many levels where you go into it with the right mindset, you can have a real good time with it overall. It's a very enjoyable film, a very entertaining film, one I'd highly recommend checking out, Baby Mama. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the second big comedy that came out this weekend, and that is Harold and Kumar are returning in the sequel as they went from going to White Castle to this time escaping from Guantanamo Bay.
Flight 420 to Amsterdam, now boarding at gate 13.
Sir, I need you to step aside, please. Just a random security check.
Random, huh?
No, come on, just do what the guy says.
What, you a racist?
Racist? Dude, I'm black.
He's black. He's not racist. Please, you're barely even brown.
In 8 hours, we're going to be in Amsterdam. This is amazing.
This is bigger than I thought. North Korea and Al-Qaeda working together.
We're Americans, man. We love America. Hey, zip it, Hello Kitty.
Welcome to Guantanamo Bay. You boys like to spoon?
No.
They were locked up for less than an hour, and they already escaped. We're gonna die. It's dying.
Hi.
Oh.
What's up with the orange jumpsuits?
What's up with this party?
I'm sick of all the hype over topless.
I always like topless.
Well, I'm starting the bottomless trend.
Oh my God, dude!
Drink it in.
Ask the Lees what they know about their son's terrorist activity.
네가 아들이 허리가 좀 안 좋아라.
Look, we've been American citizens for over 40 years.
They're speaking some sort of dialect I've never heard before.
I hope you're laughing because guess what? That is the majority of this entire movie. Jokes that are so simplistic, have been done to death so many times before, and they think they're being so goddamn clever about it, and they're just not. If you want to talk about one of the most inferior comedy sequels you will ever see, look no further than Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Even though this film was a much more successful movie than the first film was, the first film worked because it was a smart satirical comedy that was allowed to make those jokes, but but it worked because they weren't going down the same route we had seen done before. We're not getting lazy jokes out of it, and the stuff that they were doing that could be lazy at times still ended up being very, very funny. In this film, it's the complete opposite. This takes place the day after Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, where they return, and they decide to go to Amsterdam because they set it up in the end of the first movie. And Harold doesn't want to wait 10 days to see Maria again, so on the plane, Kumar lights up his new bong, the air marshal thinks it's a bomb, and Harold and Kumar are arrested as terrorists and sent to Guantanamo Bay. They manage to escape, make their way to Florida, and head to Texas to find Kumar's ex-girlfriend fiancé, the well-connected Colton, and get him to intercede with Washington on their behalf. Kumar still has a thing for Vanessa. The feds are in hot pursuit, and the legal weed of Amsterdam seems a long way away. So is a good script, because good Lord Almighty, this film is like, when I first saw this movie, I liked it. I thought it was a perfectly serviceable movie when I saw it back in the day, but man, 15 years has not held this movie up very well. More than that, actually. 17 years to be a fact, since this was 2008, but still, this film has not held up well over time at all. This thing has gotten worse and worse and worse the more you look at it. Just that trailer alone, with all the bad jokes, all the jokes that you can see coming from a mile away. You know, everyone thinks they're terrorists. Everyone thinks that they're, you know, every white guy in this is racist. You know, the TSA goes crazy. It's just too much. You know, there's Guantanamo Bay. You know, there's a whole thing where, like, let's play around with the stereotypes and all that type of stuff. And it's just like, that's all throughout this movie. And it would be fine if the movie was funny like the first film was. But it's not. It's nothing like that. This movie is unbelievably bad. Like, I could not believe I didn't see it the first time around, but yeah. This is a terrible movie. And when I was looking up the notes for this, I think I finally figured out what it is that makes this not work. This was originally supposed to be a direct-to-video movie, but then they decided to put it in theaters. Which makes a lot of sense, because this film quite literally feels like a direct-to-video movie blown up for the big screen. And not in a good way. This is a terrible, terrible film that is just so... Everything about this movie is so terrible. I mean, this thing is not clever. It's not funny. All the good stuff that was in the first movie, it's not there anymore. And of course, they got to throw in they actually have to throw in an antagonist this time around who is so easy to spot right from the get-go. And the reason why this whole thing is happening is because of that dude. And it's just like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, I remember watching this for the first time and thinking to myself, there's no way you can be this serious. Like, you really have you really have done it. You've really gone down this route and doing something so simplistic and so horribly, horribly unfunny and clever. Like, and you think you're so smart about it. It's just... Ugh, my head is just shaking just thinking about this again. I could not believe how badly this film has been poorly, what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that this film did not age well at all. That's what I've been trying to say. Like, it should be not be that hard to say, but, you know, my head gets so, screwed around so much, I can't even figure it out, but, yeah. I mean, this thing has aged poorly, and this thing is not funny. It's not clever. Yeah, the plot jokes, occasionally we'll get a laugh here and there, but, man, the comedy in this movie is so terrible. It's so badly put together, and it's not that the film isn't trying. I mean, yeah, Harold and Kumar still have that great chemistry together. I like the fact that Vanessa seems like a good character, seems like a cool character that can connect, that could be, you can see her and Kumar have good chemistry. Kal Penn is a smart guy. I mean, this was a guy that was in the White House when Obama was president. I mean, this guy is a smart dude, and I just don't know what happened here. I don't know if it's the directors of this, who are the same writers who wrote the first film, but I mean, I don't know if it was just the fact that this was their first film and they just and this is how they decided to take it. But I mean, I don't know, because again, these are the guys who created Cobra Kai, so there is the sense that they are very gifted writers, and these guys know what they're doing. I think it also is, I mean, I'm looking at their filmography here. They've only directed 2 movies, and another one here, yeah, I could definitely see this coming from the same director, because the other film they did really was not a good movie overall, and that was American Reunion, which was the 4th installment of the American Pie movies, which brought everybody back together again from the American Pie movies. And yeah, it definitely felt like a film that was not made by the same people who made American Pie, and just completely fell. It just didn't work overall. These guys were not the right people to direct this movie. I thought they directed the Christmas movie, but no, it's a different director altogether. I think this guy, Todd Strauss-Salian, no, he didn't. That was actually his first film he did, but but yeah, the Harold and Kumar Christmas movie is definitely the much better sequel. It's a much more funnier movie. It's much more clever with the 3D. It's much smarter. It's much more enjoyable. That one, I would say, definitely check that one out. But yeah, this one right here, this one has not aged well at all and has gotten worse over time. This is a terrible movie, man. I hate this film so much. I mean, I cannot believe how badly the downfall for this film was. I mean, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle was such a really damn good movie, and then to go from that to this, it's amazing I didn't see it the first time around, man, because the first time I saw it, I was just kind of like, it's fine, it's nothing too spectacular or amazing, but after time has passed, yeah, this thing is definitely the worst of the Harold and Kumar movies. It's one you should definitely avoid. Avoid this one. Go straight to a Harold and Kumar Christmas. That's the one sequel that I would recommend. This one, no, not so much. This is a terrible film. Avoid this one like the plague. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the last film we have here, and that is Ewan McGregor and Hugh Jackman in the thriller Deception.
Sorry if I scared you.
Oh, you're Wyatt, right?
Yeah. So you like this work? Or?
It's all right, I guess. You like working with numbers. Do you like being a lawyer?
Yeah, it's all right, I guess, if you like working with assets.
You have the day off tomorrow? Is she looking at me?
Listen, you don't think women have the same urges? Successful women?
And?
Well, let's just say there's a way that it can be taken care of.
Hello?
Are you free tonight?
I am free, but...
Could you be at the Dillon in 1 hour? Are you waiting for me?
Yes, I think so.
When you're on the list, the rules are simple. No rough stuff and no names. You know, when it's so good, you'd rather die than stop.
Sounds like you've been enjoying yourself. Yeah, I met this girl last night, and I broke all the rules, so not my life.
I'm not sure I believe you.
Detective, you've got to find her.
A woman whose name you don't know.
All I know about her is her first name starts with an S. I'm trying to get hold of Wyatt.
There is no one by this name working in this firm. Is she a prostitute?
She's a friend.
A friend you met in a sex group.
Jonathan.
Everything you told me was a lie.
Not lies, Jonathan. That was foreplay. And now you're...
You have a call from a Detective Russo?
You're trying to set me up.
What are you doing here?
You told him about the list.
There was something about him. Something terrifying.
Is this the woman you were with the other night?
This isn't a negotiation.
We'll see about that.
You've made a mistake.
Is that so?
Problem solving, it's what I do. I know all about you.
Well, how did you...
Doesn't matter how I know. What matters is what I know. Now I want her back.
Who are you?
I am who I don't seem to be.
You have no idea what I'm capable of.
So let's see, you've got Wolverine, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Glinda from Oz the Great and Powerful, and Nikita all starring in a movie together. But, an erotic thriller nonetheless, but, yeah. You have Cat and Mouse. Jonathan McCrory is an auditor in Manhattan, played by Ewan McGregor, moving from office to office, checking their books while working late. A smooth and well-dressed man named Wyatt Bowes, played by Hugh Jackman, chats Jonathan up, offers him a joint, and soon they're pals. When their cell phones are accidentally swapped, Jonathan answers Wyatt's phone to a series of women asking if he's free tonight. Jonathan discovers it's a sex club. Busy, powerful people meet each other anonymously in hotels. Jonathan falls for one of the club members, played by Michelle Williams, who he only knows as S, whom he's also seen on the subway. When she goes missing, patterns emerge, and Jonathan faces demands involving violence and lots of money. So, there's a good idea here with this movie, but it's one of those movies that's literally existing for the fact that, you know, it's trying to suck you in with the sex in this movie. I mean, it's a movie literally about a dude who's essentially in a sex club, and you've got all these different women that these guys are involved with. Charlotte Rampling, Natasha Henstridge, who else? Maggie Q, as I mentioned, and then Michelle Williams. But here's the thing about this movie. It's another one of those movies like a Basic Instinct 2 and a Showgirls that's literally trying to sucker you in with a TNA. And if you don't have a good script to work with here, you're not going to you're not going to make a great movie off of this. And sadly, there isn't a good movie here. Everything you kind of expect with a film like this is in there. There's nothing that's significant. There's nothing even that sexy about the sex scenes in general here. And it's another one of those movies where if you really want to see some boobage from this movie or some sexy women in sexy lingerie, that's what the internet is for, man. You can go to either Mr. Skin or Celebrity Movie Archive. If you want to look for those clips that badly, there they are online. You don't have to waste your time with this movie. And yeah, nobody should have to waste their time with this film. I remember watching this thinking I was going to get some action in this, but yeah, it's another one of those erotic thrillers that has no thrills and is certainly not erotic. I mean, this is not a good movie whatsoever. It's a bland story. The mystery aspect doesn't work very well. it's a movie that is trying to be the next Basic Instinct, but the thing about Basic Instinct that a lot of people don't really understand is that Basic Instinct had a hook to it. The sex scenes were legitimately intense, and there was a good mystery going on in there. You know, there was good characters that you wanted to get behind. Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone were casted well in their roles. What the problem is that nobody really looks at what made Basic Instinct work and only sees the stuff that did, but the stuff that the sex scenes, like, you know, Sharon Stone, you know, moving her legs around in the interrogation room, you know, the sex scenes, the ice pick and all that. Everyone wants to try to recreate that, but they can't just do that because they don't have a good script to work with here. And despite the actors that they have involved in here, there's just literally nothing about this movie that makes it worth it in the end. Like, you waste your time waiting for these moments here in general. And if you really want, like I said, if you really want to see the nude scenes, the internet exists for a reason, and there you go. That's the reason why. It just doesn't work. It's a terrible film. It's a bland mystery. There's nothing that makes it intriguing whatsoever. And yeah, you'd be better off just avoiding this one too. So yeah, avoid deception like the plague.